When you avoid calls, not stupid calls, not someone just chatting, blah, 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 or if you're busy, you're working out, but when you're using text as a primary form of communication, it's because you were trying to seize back a little control in your life. But texting is an interesting thing because we'd argued about that. When we first came out, I did a piece about texting. It's 2010 or 11. And I asked a millennial, I was like, why do you text? And he goes, because if I'm busy, why I don't want to pick up the phone. I'm doing something. So it actually made sense that he was texting to set something up. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, you guys are being efficient. You're really efficient.
Right.
Over time, though, you learn something else. If you're texting people, and you can see this in all the massive amounts of passive aggression that's out there, someone texts you and you don't text right back. How many do you have your wives, your friends get mad at you that it's been 10 minutes. What are you doing? I need to talk to you. So what happens is by not answering, you're making them because they're in their heads. And so this is the same thing. We were talking about road rage. Mm-hmm. Road rage happens because when you get in your car, that's freedom. You are in charge of what goes on. And if you can't go 2 miles an hour faster in traffic, you're angry. You're screaming at you idiot. I mean, that's a weird thing for a human to do, is to complain when you're in full traffic. We do it all the time. It's because it's impinging on your sense of having freedom. You're controlling something. Finally, you're controlling something in your life. And that's what texting is. When you avoid calls, not stupid calls, not someone just chatting, blah, 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 or if you're busy, you're working out. But when you're using text as a primary form of communication, it's because you were trying to seize back a little control in your life. You want a person to know that you are controlling your time. Mm-hmm. They're not just setting the phone down and ignoring it and training people that you can text me, but I'm not going to get it for 10 hours. They're actively, what's it called, breadcrumbing you, because they want to do everything over text so that they don't have to be sold or negotiate or argue. And it's a lack of emotional regulation.
So just for those who want to be aware, I may not text you back in the time that's appropriate for you, and don't take that the wrong way. I'm just not wired that way.
I turned off notifications and people were angry at me. I was like, it's like I don't answer the phone. I control my time, but you're going to let them control your texting stuff. Mm-hmm. The reality is you get too many. I silence it at night, and I don't want this to control. I turned off all the notifications because it messes with your brain. Mm-hmm. It's like same thing, computer, ding, 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 ding. You can't work. It messes with your concentration.
Yeah, it does.
But people get mad. Why are they mad that I'm not answering them back? So you have to train them. This is actually great for business. I taught my people never answer an email. Wait at least an hour, unless it's like a true fire. Don't do it just because it's on there, because you're getting your dopamine rush and you'll be less effective. Mm-hmm. So ignore your email for at least an hour so that they know that you have at least an hour, and then look at the email, take the real time, read the whole thread and respond back, because you have to train people, because otherwise they think everything can be done instantly and they treat email like text. Mm-hmm. The problem with doing that over time is when you start becoming a monster. Mm-hmm. So if you text me, guess what I'm going to do to you, Frank? What do I do when you text me? I call you. Frank doesn't mind. If he's busy, he doesn't, but I'm not going to carry a conversation on over text, because if you're sending me an article or I need you to meet at 7:00, like our text stuff, we don't argue over text. We call when we're doing it, because the whole point is that you want to have a real conversation that's correct. You're a monster if you call someone. If you send me an email with 6 CCs, I'm going to reply just to you. And if you do it again, I'm going to pick up the phone and call you. You're like, how can you do that? I think I'm considered rude because I call you on Teams if you CC too many people.
Yeah, I think that protocol reminders are probably pretty helpful. Like, for me, I text when I have something that's not super urgent, but I'd like a call back, right? Or just a little notification, here's some information or whatever. But like a text is like, call, super urgent, and then an email, like, just get to it.
But startup culture is the
worst. I just hate
though.
that, like back and forth text all the time. It might not be that important. Think about it before you send it again. Just think about it.
I couldn't hate startup communications culture more. But
what about this? What about this? What about this?
But then I got into crypto and Web3 communications culture, and then I found ways to hate it more, because at least in startups, like, they constrain it to Teams or Slack or whatever your group messaging thing is. But then in Web3 and crypto culture, it's Telegram and Signal. So your personal communications channels get commingled with your business ones. And so then I can't manage my notifications intelligently because I've got to leave my Telegram notifications on because I'd want to see if some cool news comes across, or my friend texts me in the evening, or my wife texts me. And now I'm in all these other Telegram business groups.
I just will never forget years and years ago sitting on trading desks and like people totally illegal. Like we all knew it was illegal and people were still using AOL Instant Messenger. Like compliance was like, stop it. And they were like, yeah, okay. Blue horseshoe. Not really. I'm joking. That never happened. I'm just saying.
How many years ago was that?
Blue horseshoe.
I think it's okay to say.
Well done.
But it was so funny
That's
that like these
obscure.
individual little like Telegram and what was the other one? Signal. It's like,
Signal.
okay, so we use this for this particular thing because that's what the cool kids in this particular industry do. It's like I should be wearing my hedgy uniform. Where's my vest?
Ironically, this is an argument for return to office
No, because they'll still
text
use it.
and email are text based.
Yeah.
You can't tell tone.
True.
You're basically sending, even if you're really good, only 5% of what you mean is coming through because 30% of human communication is tone, 50% of it is body language. Then you have context and you have the actual written text. So what happens is, let's say you're sending me bad things back and forth. If I call you, Teams message, or send an email, there's no way that you're not offended and a little hurt and a little scared for your job. But I can individually say, Marcus, well, I touched him, so I'm probably getting an HR assault, but
right.
there is a difference talking in person because you can let them know you're not in trouble. It's not a big deal. When you're doing this as a remote manager, you have to spend a lot of your time reassuring your people, hey, I need to talk to you on Monday. Here's what it's about. Because if you just say, I need to talk on Monday, they're like, oh God, am I getting fired? Like you can ruin your people accidentally. You have to spend so much time negotiating their possible emotional concerns. In office, you can see it. You can just address it quickly. So there is a lack in communications doing remote. Doesn't mean that the benefits don't outweigh it, but being in office, the problem is what happens if you're a terrible manager and you basically talk to people the way you talk over text. That makes it even worse. So good management.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.